Now we can create the example. To obtain the student name, surname, and the specific ID and given a notes for a given students. Okay, so student examples. Can you see my screen, guys? Could you hear me? First of all, we need to import a random. Okay, this can be generated in random numbers and pandas as PD. You don't need to know the rules of the import and as right now, but if you want to utilize any library, we need to import it, okay, and install it. And from faker, import faker. This generates a random student number, student name, and surname. Okay, and if you want to implement our cases, we need to generate a random student name. Okay, and def generate student name. Okay, return fake first name. And the constructor of faker should be called in here. The instance is generated in here right now, and def generate surname, student surname. Okay, return fake surname or last name. Okay, randomly generated. And also def generate student ID is another function in here. Return a functional as random possess a rand int function between the 1000 okay. These functions are utilized to generate the random name, surname, and IDs. Okay. After that, the function to generate a student dictionary, because we need to have a key and it's related to name, surname, and otherwise. Okay, but with random data. Def generate student dict. Okay, new students should be generated or created with the dictionary values in here, just like this one. And after that, for I in range of new students, which means that we need to create the 1000 students, and so this range creates the 0 to 1000 number in order to what, create a loop. And after that, student ID is generated student ID, student name generate student name. Okay, and student surname is generate student surname, and student notes is created with a random rand int 50 to 100 for every in range of 5. Okay, which means that 5 different nodes are created in here. Okay, this is a special operator, but we will talk about it in the later lessons. Okay, and so students added with the student ID, this creates the what, to dictionary within a dictionary. Okay, so name is a key, and student name and surname is a key with student surname, and ID is a key student ID, and notes can be given with the student notes. Okay, and after that it generates to this one, and so we need to return to the students values. Okay. So this generates the what are students, but if you have any Excel within a student's name, surname, and the notes, you can use it. Okay, and so function to calculate the average notes of a student for a given student. Def calculate average notes, and student ID should be given in here, and students also given in here to be searched in here. If students ID in students, if this condition is true, and so the notes can be reachable with the student ID and also notes. Okay, and return to the sum of the whole the notes in here divided by len of notes. This is the average values of the whole the notes. For example, 5 exam applied, and so each 5 is collected or sum and dividing by the length of the exams, which is equals to 5. Okay, def search student info can also be built with this one, students. Okay, if students ID in students, and so we can return students ID. Okay, otherwise if we don't have any students, we need to return the none. Okay, so how can we add students? Add student is a specific function, student info student. Okay, students students ID is assigned to the students info ID. Okay, and students ID can be given in here with the students info. Okay, this add to the student ID with the related to the name, surname, and the notes. Okay, if you want to remove the students in here, and so we can write the remove student info students, and so student ID. If student ID in students, we have this person in here just like this one, and so del students and students ID. Okay, this one is, and so this student's ID should be given in here. So how we can write the whole terms or whole list into the into the Excel. Def write to Excel can be written based on these terms, students file name. Okay, can give this, and df is created with the pd data frame students.t. You don't need to know that right now, but we can create the data frame by using these terms, and df to Excel file can be used in here with the file name and index false. Okay, and also read from Excel function can be written just like this one, read from Excel, and we should give the file name as a parameters in here, and df which is equals to pd read Excel with the file name. Okay, and students df to dict this one, but to orient which is equals to index. Okay, and we can return to the students. Okay, this is the basic implementation. You don't need to know anything about to read Excel to dig, but we can write this function. This is important. Okay, so these are the functions, are example sessions. First of all, implementation. Students generate student dict with the 50 different students in here. Okay, and so if I run this code and then we don't have any error in here, just like this one. After that, the student's ID is equals to what? S10, for example. So average notes. Calculate average notes of the student's ID with the students. Students possess every students, but the student ID is only one person in here. Okay, and so if average notes is not none, which means that we have this person in here, and so we can print the what function of print average notes for student's ID average notes dot to f. Okay, and else, for example, the print f student ID not found. Okay, and so if I run this code and then student S10 not found, what is this? And so we should search to this one, rand int 1000 to 999 values. Okay, and so we don't have any student between this ID because we have the ID from 1000 to the 9999, right? And so what about this? See, not found because we don't have any students in here. See, print students, this is a random number, right? And so see that these are the 6529 in here, just like this one. And so maybe we should change this one 65 and 20 in here, and so but now we don't have this person because at each case we have the random number in here, and so we possess to what rand int 1 to 100. Okay, and so for example 32. We have 132 right now because we generate everything in the random formation and so we found S32 with the values of the 68.80. Okay, this is the average note of the distance right now. Okay, and so what about this student info? Search student info, students ID and students. Okay, and so if student info happens, and so we can print the whole the student information in here, just like this one. For key value, just remember the previous lesson, the student info items can be reachable, and so the print f and key and value. Okay, so if we have this student, and we can write this code, but if you don't have this student, the student ID not found. Okay, and so if I run this code again, and so S32 is not found. But in this case, we have the student information name Tammy, surname McLaughlin, ID this one, and the note is given in here. This is the student information, guys. Okay. So, what about this? Add new student. New student can be generated as a dictionary values name. Generate student name, surname, generate student name, and ID. For example, S51. Okay, and notes can be given by with the what 100, 900, 100, 900, 100. Okay, these are the notes for this student. Or we can write to the what to Mehmet and İşcan. Okay. So add student function can be given with the students in here. Okay, and so we can print the what new student added. Okay, see, student added. And also we can search the R student in here, just like this one. This one is the unique right now. Okay, and student ID is given by this one, and so the Mehmet İşcan is seen just like this one. Okay, or we can remove this student. Remove student, new student, students. Okay, and this one is removed. Okay, and after that we can write this one again. See, we don't have this key in here. This is not unhatchable because we don't have this information in here. Okay, in the student one. So what about this one? What's the problem here? 611 in the remove student. Student ID. I'm sorry, guys. S511. We need to give the student ID. See? We don't have this student information in here, guys. Okay? So, what about this one? The student ID is updated in here. Okay, so how can we write Excel file? Write to Excel students and, for example, students XLSX, and we can print the what? The students data written to Excel. Okay, so if I run this code and then the student XLS is seen in here, and we can read the what? Student information from the Excel. Students from Excel is a new variable in here. Read from Excel students XLS. Okay, and so what about this one for student ID and student info in student from Excel? That items can be called in here and printf to what? F functional F student ID, this one, student ID, and student info can be given by with the what? Student info. Okay, so if I run this code and then the whole 50 students ID 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are seen in here, guys. Okay, all the list and the names are given in here. This is the example session about the for if function and the some important library examples. Okay, any question? If you don't have any question, and so today is enough for this lesson. In the next week we will talk about the next session or next